There comes a time when words are no longer necessary, when your explanations are wasted and your presence is undervalued. That is when silence becomes your greatest ally. Most people fear silence because it demands strength. It requires trust in something unseen, something beyond the physical world. But the wise know that silence holds more power than words ever could. When you cut all contacts, you are not running away, you are realigning. You are shifting your energy from the external to the internal, from the noise of the world to the quiet authority within. Every great transformation begins with withdrawal. Just as the caterpillar isolates itself before becoming a butterfly, so too must you step away from everything that no longer serves you. Do not beg, do not explain, and do not chase. The moment you remove yourself, the world will feel your absence. People who once ignored you will begin to wonder. Those who took you for granted will start to question. But you must not return. Let them feel the void. Understand this. Your presence is a gift, and your energy is precious. It is not meant to be scattered among those who do not value it. Be silent, not because you have nothing to say, but because you have nothing to prove. Cut all contacts not out of spite, but out of wisdom. Those who truly belong in your life will find a way to reach you. The rest were never meant to stay. True transformation begins the moment you release attachments to people, places, and things that no longer serve your highest good. Detachment is not indifference, nor is it coldness. Rather, it is the highest form of self-mastery. It is the understanding that nothing outside of you defines who you are, and no external circumstance has power over your inner world unless you allow it. Many live their lives shackled to the past, entangled in relationships that drain them, in memories that haunt them, or in expectations that were never theirs to fulfill. They hold on to people out of fear of loneliness, to places out of familiarity, and to ideas that have long ceased to nurture them. But the one who truly seeks freedom must be willing to let go, not with resentment, not with bitterness, but with the quiet assurance that something greater awaits beyond what is being released. Silence is not weakness, it is your greatest strength. The world may tempt you to react, to explain, to fight for your place in people's lives, but the wise understand that true power does not beg for recognition. True power does not seek validation, it simply is. To detach means to step back, to no longer be a puppet to the emotions, expectations, or demands of others. It is to stand in your own energy, knowing that everything meant for you will find its way effortlessly, without force or struggle. When you detach, you create space, and in that space the universe moves. What was once clouded by neediness, attachment, and desperation suddenly becomes clear. You begin to see who truly values you, who was only there for convenience, and what was merely an illusion of security. Silence teaches you this. It forces you into the present moment, where truth reveals itself, without the distortion of words, arguments, or justification. People often mistake detachment for a lack of love, but in reality, it is the deepest form of self-love. To detach is to honor yourself, to refuse to settle for anything that does not align with your highest good. It is the recognition that you are whole, with or without anyone else, that your peace does not come from external circumstances, but from within. The world moves in cycles, and everything has its season. Some connections are meant to be temporary, some places only serve a purpose for a time, and some versions of yourself must be shed like old skin. To cling to what no longer resonates with you is to resist growth, to hold on to a version of yourself that is trying to evolve into something greater. Detachment allows you to step into the unknown with faith rather than fear, knowing that what is meant for you cannot be lost, and what is lost was never truly meant to stay. You will know the moment you must walk away. The energy will no longer feel right. The conversations will drain rather than uplift. The presence of certain people will feel heavy instead of fulfilling. That is the sign. When you feel it, do not resist, do not explain, do not seek closure where none is needed. Simply let go, in silence, with grace, and with the unshakable knowing that the path ahead is far greater than anything left behind. When you stop explaining, defending, or seeking validation, you open yourself to the infinite intelligence within. The world conditions you to believe that you must always speak, justify, and prove your worth. But the truth is, the most powerful transformations happen in silence. It is in the quiet that you align with the divine, that you come into harmony with the unseen forces shaping your reality. Silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the space where wisdom speaks without words, where answers arrive without being chased, and where clarity emerges without struggle. The more you embrace silence, the more you begin to hear what was always present but drowned out by the noise of the world. You begin to understand that reality is not shaped by external arguments, explanations, or pleas, but by the stillness of your inner conviction. When you stop explaining yourself to others, you take back your power. The need to justify your actions or decisions comes from a place of insecurity, from a belief that your truth is not enough unless it is accepted by others. But the one who is truly aligned knows that truth does not require validation. The moment you let go of the need to convince, you stepped into a space of quiet confidence, where your presence alone becomes enough. Defending yourself is often an illusion of control. You believe that if you can just make someone understand, if you can just argue your point well enough, you can change their perception. But perception is shaped by the mind of the perceiver, not by the force of your words. When you are silent, you allow energy to speak for you. You allow your actions, your results, and the quiet knowing within you to shape the reality around you. Seeking validation is a form of self-abandonment. It is placing your worth in the hands of others, waiting for their approval before you believe in yourself. But the divine does not require external confirmation, it simply is. The moment you stop searching for validation, you align with that same divine certainty. You become untouchable, immovable, a force so steady that nothing external can shake you. Silence connects you to the source of all things. It is through silence that intuition strengthens, that inspiration flows, and that divine timing unfolds. When you stop filling the space with unnecessary words, you allow higher wisdom to guide you. You begin to see beyond the distractions, beyond the illusions, and into the deeper reality of your own power. The unseen forces shaping your life do not respond to noise, they respond to faith. And faith is found in stillness. It is found in the quiet moments where you stop chasing and start trusting, where you stop reacting and start knowing. When you align with silence, you align with creation itself. You become the calm in the storm, the observer rather than the reactor, the one who moves in certainty rather than doubt. The world may tell you to speak louder, to fight harder, to prove yourself endlessly, but true mastery is found in the opposite. It is found in knowing when to say nothing, when to allow things to unfold, when to let energy speak instead of words. When you embrace silence, you embrace the divine within you. You step into a power that is unshaken by opinions, unmoved by resistance, and unquestionable in its certainty. In silence you are whole. In silence you are free. Your presence, your focus, and your inner convictions shape the world around you. Long before you speak, before you take action, before you express yourself in words, your energy has already communicated everything about you. It is not what you say that holds power. It is what you believe, what you embody, and what you radiate. Energy never lies. It is the silent force that determines how people respond to you, the unseen influence that shapes your reality. Most people exhaust themselves trying to explain, trying to convince, trying to force understanding. But those who understand the power of energy know that words are secondary. When you carry certainty within you, when you stand firm in your truth, You do not need to argue, beg, or plead. People feel it. They sense your strength without a single word being spoken. This is why those who master their energy master their lives. Your focus is your power. Whatever you give your attention to, you energize. If you are constantly engaging with people who drain you, giving time to situations that disrupt your peace, or explaining yourself to those who will never understand, you are scattering your energy. But the moment you withdraw, the moment you stop feeding these distractions, something remarkable happens. You reclaim your power. You shift from reacting to creating. You stop allowing external forces to dictate your state of being, and instead, you become the force that influences everything around you. By cutting unnecessary contact, you free yourself from invisible chains. Many connections exist out of habit, obligation, or fear of solitude. But not all connections serve your growth. Some keep you locked in cycles of frustration, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion. Every interaction carries an exchange of energy. Some uplift you, inspire you, and align with your vision. Others drain you, keep you small, and hold you in a version of yourself that you have outgrown. You must choose wisely. Silence is not weakness, distance is not selfishness. When you choose to step back from people, places, or conversations that deplete you, you are not abandoning them, you are choosing yourself. You are making space for clarity, for elevation, for transformation. The absence of your energy from spaces that do not honor it is the greatest statement you can make. Some will not understand your silence, some will be uncomfortable with your withdrawal, but that is not your concern. The ones who truly value your presence will feel the shift. They will recognize that your absence speaks volumes. And those who only sought to take from you, to pull from your energy without reciprocation, will reveal themselves. This is the power of detachment. It exposes truth without confrontation. The most powerful beings in history did not move through the world with endless words. They moved with presence, with certainty, with an unshakable knowing that needed no explanation. You too can step into that power. Let your energy speak. Let your focus shape your path. Remove all that weakens your spirit and disrupts your peace. The less you explain, the more people will feel. The less you react, the more you command. And when you cut unnecessary contacts, you will find that everything meant for you begins to flow effortlessly into your life. When you withdraw, people and opportunities that once overlooked you begin to seek you. This is the law of reversal. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you remove your energy from situations where it was once given freely, a shift occurs. What you once pursued now turns toward you. What seemed unattainable begins to move in your direction. Silence, distance, and detachment are not acts of loss, but acts of power. They reset the balance, allowing you to step into a position where you are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. Most people operate under the illusion that effort alone brings results. They believe that by constantly reaching out, explaining themselves, proving their worth, or insisting on being seen, they can force recognition. But the more you chase, the more you repel. The more you give without discernment, the more you are taken for granted. Energy flows where attention goes. And when you invest your energy in people, situations, or opportunities that do not reciprocate, you create imbalance. But the moment you pull back, the dynamic reverses. The same people who once dismissed you suddenly notice your absence. The same doors that remain closed begin to open effortlessly. Silence shifts power back into your hands. It creates mystery, intrigue, and a void that others feel the need to fill. When you are always available, always responding, always explaining, you give others control over your energy. But when you step back, when you no longer react, you force the world to reevaluate your presence. Those who once overlooked you begin to wonder. Those who took you for granted begin to question. This is because people do not truly value what is always within reach. They value what they fear losing. Detachment is not about playing games, it is about reclaiming your energy. When you withdraw, you are not punishing anyone. You are simply choosing to stop pouring into spaces that do not nourish you. You are choosing to let your absence teach the lesson your presence could not. The moment you become indifferent, the moment you no longer seek validation, you become the one who is sought after. You no longer move in desperation but in certainty, and that certainty is magnetic. Then, this law applies not only to people but also to opportunities. Many chase success, wealth, and recognition with an anxious energy, believing that relentless pursuit is the key. But the most powerful manifestations occur when you shift from chasing to attracting. When you align yourself with abundance, when you stop begging the world for permission and instead embody the energy of already having. Everything you desire begins to move toward you. The less you force, the more you allow. To activate the law of reversal, you must learn to let go. Let go of the need to be understood. Let go of the need to be chosen. Let go of the need to control outcomes. Trust that your silence, your withdrawal, and your detachment are not acts of defeat but of empowerment. What is meant for you cannot ignore you when you stand firm in your worth. Walk away with certainty and watch as everything that once seemed distant begins to find its way back to you. The version of you that needed approval, explanations, and external validation must be left behind. That self, the one who sought acceptance, who feared judgment, who needed reassurance from the outside world, has no place in the life you are stepping into. There comes a moment when you must choose between your old self and the person you are becoming. You cannot hold on to both. Growth demands sacrifice. And in this case, the sacrifice is the outdated version of you that no longer serves your highest good. For too long, you have measured your worth through the eyes of others. You have explained yourself to those who never truly listened. You have sought approval from those who were never meant to validate you. But what has that ever truly given you? Temporary acceptance? Superficial belonging? These things are illusions, and the sooner you release them, the sooner you step into your true power. Let the old version of you die. Let go of the one who needed to be liked, who sought constant validation, who feared being misunderstood. None of that serves you. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were never meant to fit into spaces that required you to shrink, to bend, or to prove yourself. The real you, the powerful, unshakable, and limitless you, can only emerge when you make space for it. And that means cutting ties with the old. This is why silence and distance are necessary. They are not acts of cruelty, they are acts of rebirth. You cannot hold on to old relationships, old habits, and old ways of thinking while trying to build something new. The moment you decide to evolve, everything that belongs to the old version of you will either fall away or fight to keep you where you were. But you must not waver. You must not be afraid to let go. Some people will not recognize this new version of you. They will say you have changed. They will question your silence. They will try to pull you back into familiar patterns. But remember this: those who truly align with you will evolve with you. Those who belong in your future will respect the transformation. Do not lower yourself to keep the comfort of familiarity. Let what must go, go. Let what must fade, fade. The only thing you owe yourself is the commitment to your own growth. As you release the old, a new reality begins to take shape. Opportunities you once chased will now seek you. Peace will replace the anxiety that once controlled you. Confidence will replace the self-doubt that once held you back. But this only happens when you're willing to detach from everything that belongs to the past version of you. Step into this new reality without fear. Let go without hesitation. Trust that the void you create by cutting ties with the old will be filled with something far greater. The death of the old you is not a loss, it is a liberation. And from that liberation, the life you were always meant to live will finally emerge. The absence of your words will echo louder than anything you could ever say. Silence is not an empty space. It is a powerful force. When you remove yourself, when you stop explaining, stop arguing, stop justifying, you create a void. a space that others are left to fill with their own thoughts. And in that space, reflection begins. People rarely appreciate what is always available to them. They take for granted what is constantly within reach, what never threatens to leave. But when you withdraw, when you remove your presence, it forces them to confront a reality they never considered, the reality of your absence. This is when the mind begins to replay every conversation, every overlooked effort, every moment where they fail to recognize your value. Silence forces others to sit with themselves, and for many that is the most uncomfortable experience of all. In your silence, they will be left to wonder, to question, to analyze. The words you no longer speak will repeat in their minds louder than they ever did when spoken aloud. The gestures they ignored will become clear in hindsight. The love they took for granted, the support they assumed would always be there. Suddenly, all of it will stand out in ways it never did before. People only truly see the value of something once it is gone. When you were there, when your energy was freely given, it was easy to overlook. But the moment you pull away, the shift is undeniable. Your silence speaks in a way words never could. It forces a confrontation with a truth, an awareness that your presence was not an obligation but a choice. And now, that choice is no longer theirs to depend on. Some will come to realize your worth too late. They will reach out, not because they miss you, but because they miss what you provided. They will try to pull you back into the dynamic where you were the giver and they were the receiver. But you must recognize this for what it is. True recognition is not just words of regret. It is change, action. Others will never acknowledge your worth, even in your absence. But that is the ultimate proof that leaving was necessary. Your silence did not fail, it simply revealed the truth. Those who truly valued you will reflect, adjust, and grow. Those who never did will fade away. Either way, you win. Either way, you remove yourself from spaces where you were not appreciated and create room for connections that recognize your value without needing to lose you first. This is why you must not fear detachment. Do not be afraid to step back. Do not feel the need to explain your silence. It is not your job to make others understand your worth. It is their job to see it. And if it takes your absence for them to realize it, then that in itself is the lesson. The greatest impact you will ever have is not in convincing others to see you, but in walking away until they are forced to. Let your silence do the work. Let it echo. Let it be the lesson. And most importantly, let it be the reminder that your presence is a gift, not something to be expected, but something to be cherished. Silence is not weakness, it is power. Detachment is not loss, it is freedom. When you cut ties with what no longer serves you, you create space for transformation. By choosing silence over unnecessary explanations, you reclaim your energy, shift the balance of power, and force those around you to reflect. The absence of your words, your presence, and your efforts will speak louder than anything you could ever say. The growth requires sacrifice, and the old version of you, the one that sought validation, begged for understanding, and overextended for the unworthy, must be left behind. In that letting go, a new reality emerges. You become the one who is sought after, respected, and valued. Not because you demanded it, but because your silence and absence reveal the truth. So step forward in confidence. Do not fear detachment. Do not hesitate to remove yourself from spaces where you are not appreciated. The right people will understand your worth without needing to lose you first. The wrong ones will fade away, making room for what truly belongs in your life. In the end, silence is the most powerful statement you will ever make. Thank you. Thank you. There is a secret most people overlook, a truth so simple yet profoundly powerful. Your world moves according to your expectation. What you assume and persist in must take shape. Not tomorrow, not in some distant future, but today. You do not beg for what is already yours. You do not chase what is meant for you. Instead, you enter the state of receiving, effortless, relaxed, and sure. This is what I ask you to do 3 times a day, morning, midday, and night. Not as a struggle, not as a desperate plea, but as a deep, unwavering knowing. Expect it with certainty, not tomorrow, now. Expect it today. Relax in the knowledge that it is making its way to you in the most effortless way possible. Do this 3 times a day and watch what happens. Not because you are making it happen, but because it has already happened. You are simply aligning yourself with it. Time is not real. It is only a construct of the mind. What you desire already exists in the unseen. The moment you shift into the state of having it, reality must rearrange itself to match you. So let go of waiting, let go of wondering how or when. Your only task is to relax and expect. 3 times a day, step into the version of yourself that has already received. What you assume to be true in your mind must be reflected in your world. This is not a theory nor a hopeful idea, it is law. Everything you see, everything you experience is simply a mirror reflecting back the assumptions you have persisted in over time. The world does not create for you, it simply projects what you have already accepted as real within yourself. Whether you are conscious of it or not, your assumptions shape the circumstances, people, and events in your life. The mind is a garden, and assumption is the seed. If you plant a seed with full expectation that it will grow, it must, for the soil does not discriminate. It does not argue, it simply receives and produces according to what has been planted. Likewise, the subconscious mind does not debate or resist. It accepts as true whatever you impress upon it with feeling. If you assume yourself to be healthy, successful, loved, and fulfilled, the world around you will shift to reflect that state of being. But if you assume difficulty, struggle, and lack, life will arrange itself to confirm those beliefs. The mistake most people make is assuming based on appearances. They look at their present conditions and accept them as the only truth. They react to what they see, and in doing so, reinforce it. But reality is not fixed. It is fluid, always taking shape according to the dominant impressions of the mind. If you assume that you are financially abundant, even when your bank account says otherwise, that assumption will take root and begin to materialize. The truth is, if you assume that you are loved, even when no one is currently expressing that love, your world must rearrange itself to bring that experience into your life. To assume is not to wish or to hope. Wishing implies lack, hoping suggests uncertainty. But assumption is different. It is the deep inner knowing that what you have claimed is already yours. It does not require proof. It does not seek validation. It simply accepts as fact that what is imagined will solidify into form. This is the key difference between those who manifest their desires with ease and those who struggle. Shop currently asked soldiers of India about gratitude, and they said they had many teachers who could not. The ones who succeed are not waiting for signs. They are living from the end, acting, thinking, and feeling as though their wish is already fulfilled. The power of assumption is absolute, but it requires unwavering persistence. A single assumption, held momentarily and then replaced by doubt, cannot produce results. It is the sustained belief, the repeated confirmation within, that brings about change. Every day you are reinforcing something within yourself, whether consciously or unconsciously. The question is, what are you reinforcing? Are you affirming a life of abundance, joy, and peace? Or are you affirming struggle, delay, and disappointment? Whatever you affirm consistently, you will see. To use this power effectively, you must assume and expect with certainty. You must carry yourself as if the reality you desire is already in motion, knowing that the world has no choice but to conform. The assumption precedes the evidence, not the other way around. If you wait for proof before believing, you will forever be trapped in a cycle of delay. Instead, take the bold step of accepting your desired reality as truth now. Assume it is done, not because you see it yet, but because you have declared it so. Your assumption is the cause and your world is the effect. It does not matter what anyone else believes. It does not matter what past experiences have told you. The only thing that matters is what you claim as true now. If you wish to change your life, change your assumption about it. See yourself as the person who already possesses all that you seek, and persist in that vision until the outer world catches up. It is law. It cannot fail. E primum nahito. The concept of time is one of the greatest illusions humanity has accepted as truth. We measure days, hours, and minutes, believing that events unfold in a linear sequence. But in reality, all that exists is this present moment. The past is nothing more than a memory, and the future is merely a projection of the mind. The only time that is real is now. Everything that has ever happened and everything that will ever happen exists within this eternal present. Most people live trapped by time, believing they must wait for their desires to unfold. They believe in processes, in steps, in gradual progress. They say, one day I will have what I want, or when the right conditions appear, I will be happy. But in doing so, they push their manifestations into an endless future that never arrives. By assuming that what they desire is always coming, but never here, they unknowingly keep it at a distance. For they do not realize that the key to instant manifestation lies in collapsing the illusion of time itself. To manifest effortlessly, one must understand that there is no waiting, no gap between desire and fulfillment. The only thing creating a delay is the belief in delay. The moment you assume that what you desire is already yours, you step outside of time and enter the realm of the absolute, where all things exist simultaneously. When you truly relax into the feeling of already having it, you remove the barriers that time imposes. You no longer wait for something to come. Instead, you claim it now, knowing that reality will rearrange itself to match your new assumption. Consider how effortlessly dreams unfold while you sleep. In a matter of moments, you can experience what seems like hours of events. You can meet people, travel to places, and witness things that in waking life would take years to occur. But within the dream, there is no sense of time as you know it, only the direct experience of what is imagined. This is a glimpse into how reality truly works. The external world appears slow and structured, only because we have conditioned ourselves to believe it must be so. But when you remove the mental chains of time, reality responds instantly. Many believe that certain things must take time. They think success must be built over years, that relationships must progress through stages, that healing requires long periods. But these beliefs are self-imposed limitations. What if you let go of the idea that things take time? What if you assume that what you desire is already complete, already existing, already yours? The moment you stop placing your desire in the future and claim it in the present, time ceases to be a factor. You collapse the delay, and what once seemed distant is drawn to you now. This is why relaxation is key. When you relax, you stop resisting. You stop measuring, waiting, and questioning. You simply know. You assume it is done, and in doing so, you align with the version of yourself that already has it. You step into the state of fulfillment, and reality has no choice but to reflect it. Manifestation is not about effort, it is about alignment. It is about shifting into the version of yourself that already possesses what you seek. Time is an illusion, and the only thing keeping your desire from appearing instantly is your belief that it must take time. Let go of that belief. Assume it is done now. Live as though it is already yours. When you master this, you will realize that nothing is ever truly out of reach, because everything exists now. The key to manifesting anything in life is not struggle, effort, or force. It is the ability to feel with absolute certainty that your desire is already fulfilled. It is not enough to wish, to hope, or to want. These states imply lack. What is required is the deep inner knowing that what you have imagined is already yours, that it exists now, even if the physical world has yet to reflect it. This is the true secret of creation, and those who master it hold the power to shape their reality at will. Most people believe they must work tirelessly to achieve their desires, that they must fight against the odds, struggle through obstacles, and prove their worthiness before receiving what they want. But this is a misunderstanding of how reality works. Everything you see in your world is simply a reflection of your internal state. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are, what you deeply assume to be true about yourself and your life. And the fastest way to change your external world is to change the way you feel within. To feel the wish fulfilled is to embody the state of already having. It is not about pretending or trying to convince yourself. It is about shifting into the version of yourself that already possesses the thing you seek. If wealth is your desire, you must feel wealthy now. If love is your desire, you must feel deeply loved now. If success is your desire, you must feel successful now. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, the external world has no choice but to conform to the inner world you consistently inhabit. This feeling of already having is what removes all barriers. When you feel as though you already possess your desire, there is no resistance, no doubt, no questioning. There is no desperation, no waiting, no wondering when or how it will come. You have already accepted it as fact, and when the mind accepts something as true, it naturally expresses that truth outwardly. Your actions, your words, your energy shift effortlessly, and soon the world must respond in kind. But the mistake many make is allowing their senses to dictate their beliefs. They look at their current reality and say, "I don't have it yet, so I cannot feel it." But the outer world is nothing more than a delayed reflection of the inner world. If you continue to react to what is, you will continue to create more of the same. The true power lies in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled before any physical evidence appears. It is this assumption that brings it into being. Think of a time when you anticipated something wonderful. Perhaps a long-awaited vacation, a reunion with someone you love, or a special event. Even before it happened, you felt the excitement, the joy, the certainty that it was on its way. That feeling colored your days, uplifted your spirit, and changed how you moved through life. This is the exact state you must embody when manifesting. In this, you must feel the same certainty about your desire as you would about an event already scheduled on your calendar. The easiest way to do this is to enter a state of relaxation, quiet your mind, and imagine yourself already in possession of what you desire. Do not just see it, feel it. What emotions arise? What does it feel like to have it, to be it, to live it? Let that feeling take over you completely. Immerse yourself in the sensation of fulfillment and do not step out of it. Carry that state with you throughout your day, returning to it whenever doubt creeps in. This is the true work. Training yourself to dwell in the state of already having. Once you master this, manifestation becomes effortless. The world must yield to your assumption, because the external is always a servant to the internal. So let go of effort, struggle, and worry. Feel the wish fulfilled now, and watch as your reality transforms before your eyes. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant within it, whether consciously or unconsciously, will take root and grow. Most people allow their minds to be filled with weeds, doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs, without realizing that they have the power to cultivate the reality they truly desire. The key to transformation is repetition. What you impress upon your subconscious mind over and over again becomes your truth. This is why doing this practice 3 times a day is so powerful. It is not about forcing change, but about gently reconditioning the mind to accept a new reality as normal, as inevitable. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts whatever is repeatedly impressed upon it. This is why many people find themselves stuck in the same patterns, because they unconsciously reaffirm the same beliefs day after day. If you constantly think thoughts of lack, struggle, and limitation, you are planting seeds that will continue to bear fruit in your life. But if you deliberately and consistently assume the reality you wish to experience, you begin to overwrite the old programming and create a new mental blueprint. When you assume something to be true, even before physical evidence appears, you are engaging in the process of creation. But assumption alone is not enough. It must be reinforced. A single thought or feeling, no matter how powerful, may not be enough to shift deeply ingrained beliefs. The subconscious mind is shaped through repetition. Just as a muscle grows stronger through consistent training, the mind becomes attuned to new beliefs through continuous reinforcement. This is why practicing this assumption 3 times a day is essential: morning, midday, and night. Each session serves to reinforce the new state of being. In the morning, as you wake, your mind is in a highly suggestible state. This is the perfect time to impress your assumption. Midday, when the distractions of the world begin to pull you back into old patterns, you remind yourself again of your chosen reality. And at night, before sleep, you impress your subconscious one final time, allowing it to work on your behalf as you rest. Each time you engage in this practice, do not merely think about your desire, feel it. Immerse yourself in the sensation of already having it. If wealth is your goal, feel the ease, security, and freedom of financial abundance. If love is your desire, feel the warmth, joy, and connection of already being deeply cherished. If success is what you seek, feel the confidence, fulfillment, and recognition of having already achieved. The feeling is what imprints the assumption into the subconscious. The stronger and more natural the feeling, the faster reality shifts to reflect it. Some may wonder, why 3 times a day? Why not once? The answer lies in the nature of the mind. We live in a world that constantly reinforces the illusion of external reality. From the moment you wake up, you are bombarded with stimuli that attempt to dictate what is possible for you. News, social media, conversations, all of these can subtly reaffirm old limitations if you are not vigilant. By returning to your assumption multiple times a day, you ensure that your mind does not drift back into old habits. You create a momentum that builds with each repetition, making it easier for your subconscious to accept the new belief as truth. This practice is not about forcing or obsessing. It is about saturating your mind with a new reality until it becomes second nature. The subconscious mind loves consistency. It responds to what is repeated with feeling. This is why affirmations, visualization, and inner conversations must be done persistently. A single drop of water does not shape a rock, but the steady, repeated flow over time creates transformation. The moment the new assumption feels natural, the outer world begins to shift. Suddenly, opportunities arise, doors open, and synchronicities occur that confirm what you have assumed. This is not coincidence. It is the natural response of reality to the new state of being you have claimed. So, commit to this practice. 3 times a day, step into the feeling of already having your desire. Do not analyze, do not question, simply assume and feel. Let repetition rewire your mind, and soon, what once seemed distant will become your lived reality. Doubt is the only thing standing between you and your desire. It is not time, circumstances, or any external force that delays your manifestation. It is the resistance created by your own uncertainty. When you doubt, you send conflicting signals to your subconscious mind. One moment you affirm that your desire is already yours, and the next you question when or how it will come. This back and forth creates resistance, slowing down the process or even preventing it altogether. Letting go of doubt is not about convincing yourself with logic or forcing yourself to believe. It is about relaxing into the certainty that what you have assumed is already done. Imagine placing an order at a restaurant. You do not sit at the table anxiously wondering whether the food will arrive. You do not check with the waiter every 5 minutes, questioning whether the kitchen is really preparing your meal. You simply expect it, knowing that it is on its way. This is the attitude you must adopt with your desires. Absolute trust that what you have assumed will manifest at the perfect time. Doubt arises when you look at the external world for validation. If your desire has not yet appeared in physical form, you might feel tempted to question whether it is really coming. But this is the greatest mistake you can make. The outer world is merely a reflection of your past thoughts, emotions, and assumptions. If you continue to react to what is, you will only reinforce the same reality. The key is to persist in your inner knowing, regardless of what appears in the physical world. Relaxation is the antidote to doubt. When you relax, you allow. When you allow, you receive. Think of how effortlessly things flow into your life when you are in a state of ease and confidence. Have you ever noticed that the things you desperately chase after seem to run away from you, while the things you feel indifferent or at peace about tend to come easily? This is because desperation creates resistance, while relaxation creates a state of openness. When you stop resisting, you make space for your desire to flow naturally into your life. Letting go of doubt does not mean you suppress your thoughts or pretend that uncertainty does not exist. Instead, you acknowledge doubt and then choose not to engage with it. When a doubtful thought arises, simply recognize it and shift your focus back to the feeling of already having your desire. Do not fight it, simply redirect. This is the practice of mastering your mind, training it to dwell only on the reality you wish to experience. One of the most powerful ways to dissolve doubt is to embody the state of already having. If you had your desire right now, would you question whether it was coming? Would you worry about the details? No, you would simply enjoy it, confident in its presence. Adopt this mindset now. Walk through your day as though your wish is already fulfilled. Let this feeling of certainty. Another effective way to release resistance is to remind yourself that the universe is always working in your favor. Just as the sun rises each day without your effort, just as your heart beats without you controlling it, the process of manifestation unfolds naturally when you trust it. Your role is not to struggle or force, but to assume, feel, and allow. Faith is not something you have to create, it is something you return to. Deep within you, there is already a knowing that you are the creator of your reality, that your assumptions shape your world. Doubt is nothing more than a habit, a conditioned response based on past experiences. But you are no longer bound by the past. The moment you decide to let go of doubt, you free yourself from all limits. So relax, trust, feel your wish as already fulfilled. Do not chase, do not beg, do not question. Simply know. Let go of all resistance and watch as your desire unfolds effortlessly before you. When you live as if it is already done, you align yourself with the reality where your desire has manifested. You are no longer hoping, waiting, or wondering when it will come. You are embodying the version of yourself that already has it. This is the key to effortless manifestation. The universe responds to who you are being, not just what you are asking for. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions reflect the assumption that your desire is already yours, reality has no choice but to conform. Most people approach manifestation from a state of lack. They desire something but continue to think, feel, and act as though they do not have it. This contradiction creates resistance. If you constantly affirm that you want something, you are reinforcing the fact that you do not yet have it. But when you shift your state of being, When you start thinking, feeling, and behaving as if your desire is already a present reality, you step into alignment with it. Living as if it is done does not mean pretending or forcing yourself to believe. It means embodying the natural confidence of someone who already has what they desire. If you had your dream job right now, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? What kind of thoughts would you think? How would you speak about your life? You would not be worrying about whether the job is coming. You would already be experiencing it. You would wake up with excitement, walk with certainty, and feel secure in your success. This is the state you must assume before the physical evidence appears. Emotion is the key to this transformation. The subconscious mind does not respond to empty words, it responds to feelings. When you deeply feel the joy, gratitude, and relief of already having your desire, you impress this reality onto your subconscious. And once the subconscious accepts something is true, the external world shifts to match it. Instead of waiting for your circumstances to change so that you can feel differently, change how you feel now and your circumstances will follow. So, your actions must also align with your assumption. This does not mean forcing yourself to take unnecessary steps or working harder to make something happen. It means naturally behaving in ways that reflect your new reality. A person who is wealthy does not constantly check their bank account in fear. A person who is deeply loved does not doubt whether they are wanted. A person who is successful does not question their own worth. Align your daily actions with the truth that your desire is already fulfilled. One of the simplest ways to live as if it is done is to shift your inner conversations. Throughout the day, observe the way you speak to yourself. Are you mentally reinforcing the old reality, or are you affirming the new one? The words you say to yourself shape your perception, and your perception shapes your world. Begin to speak as though you already have what you want. Replace thoughts of doubt with thoughts of certainty. Instead of thinking, I hope it happens, say to yourself, it is already mine. Another powerful practice is to immerse yourself in the feeling of your fulfilled desire before sleep. The state you enter before sleep is deeply impressionable to the subconscious mind. As you lie in bed, imagine yourself already living your desired reality. Feel it as vividly as possible. If your wish is to be in a loving relationship, feel the warmth, connection, and presence of your partner beside you. If your desire is financial abundance, feel the security and freedom that wealth brings. Let this be the last impression you leave on your subconscious before drifting into sleep. Doubt has no place in this process. The moment you begin to question when or how it will happen, you step out of alignment. There is no need to seek confirmation from the external world. The only confirmation you need is the feeling within you. When you truly live as if it is done, you no longer need to ask if it is coming. You already know. And when you know, it must appear. This is not about tricking the universe. It is about understanding that creation is finished. Every possibility already exists. The moment you assume your desired state and live from it, you shift into the reality where it is already true. The world then rearranges itself to reflect your new assumption. So begin now. Live as though it is already done. Carry yourself with the confidence of one who has already received. Feel it, act upon it, and refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts it. The moment you fully align with your desired reality, it manifests effortlessly. The key to manifestation is not in struggle, force, or endless waiting. It is in the effortless alignment with the reality you wish to experience. Your assumption is law. What you deeply accept as true must reflect in your world. Time is an illusion, and the only moment that exists is now. When you relax and assume it is done, you collapse time and allow your desire to manifest instantly. The secret is in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and not in effort, but in deep inner knowing. Repetition rewires the mind, reinforcing the new reality until it becomes second nature. The subconscious responds to consistency, and what you persist in assuming becomes your truth. Doubt is the only barrier. When you let go of resistance and trust the process, your desires flow effortlessly into your life. You must live as if it is already done, aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your fulfilled state. The universe mirrors your state of being. And when you truly embody your desire, reality has no choice but to conform. Everything you seek is already yours. The moment you relax, trust, and expect, you remove all barriers. Assume, feel, and allow. It is already done. Thank you. There is a secret known to those who live in abundance. A secret so simple that most people overlook it. The truth is this: what you see and engage with daily shapes the reality you experience. If you desire wealth, you must make wealth familiar to your mind. Imagine this. Each day you wake up and see money sitting on your table. A crisp bill, a golden coin, something tangible, something real. It is not there as decoration, nor as a mere object. It is there as a seed, a symbol, a living affirmation that wealth is already yours. Most people believe they must chase money, work tirelessly for it, beg for opportunities. But those who understand the nature of reality know a greater truth. Money is drawn to those who assume its presence. You must see it, feel it, and live in the awareness that it is always flowing into your life. Your subconscious mind absorbs what it repeatedly seeks. If your table holds money, your mind begins to accept it as normal, and what is normal becomes effortless. What is effortless multiplies. This is why the wealthy never think in terms of lack, because wealth is their natural state. It is not something they strive for, it is something they expect. So take this simple act. Place money where you can see it, not out of desperation, not as a wish, but as a quiet, confident acknowledgement that abundance is already yours. Each time your eyes fall upon it, let it serve as a reminder: money comes easily, effortlessly, and continuously. Do not dismiss this as trivial. The smallest shift in perception can open floodgates of prosperity. The moment you stop seeing money as something distant and start recognizing it as already present, you align with its endless flow. What you assume to be true in consciousness will manifest in your world. This is an eternal law, unchanging and absolute. The outer world you experience is nothing more than a mirror reflecting back to you the assumptions you hold within. Most people live under the illusion that circumstances shape their beliefs, but the truth is quite the opposite. Your beliefs shape your circumstances. When you assume wealth, wealth must come. When you assume struggle, struggle must persist. Consider the simple act of keeping money on your table. At first glance, it may seem insignificant, but within it lies a powerful truth. That money, placed where your eyes can see it daily, is more than just an object. It is a symbol, a seed planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. It is a statement to yourself, a silent decree that money is not something distant, not something rare, but something present, something natural, something already yours. Most people unknowingly assume lack. They do not realize that every sigh of frustration, every moment of worry, every glance at an empty wallet reinforces the belief that money is scarce. They may desire wealth, but deep within they assume struggle, and because they assume it, they experience it. The world does not bring them what they wish for, it brings them what they expect, what they accept as true, what they assume to be real. But what happens when you deliberately shift your assumption? What happens when instead of confirming lack, you affirm abundance? The very act of seeing money in your space begins to change something deep within. It tells your subconscious that wealth is not something you chase, it is something you already possess. And once that belief takes root, reality must reshape itself to match it. Your subconscious does not question, it does not argue, it does not rationalize. It simply accepts and reflects. If it sees money as a normal, present reality, It will work tirelessly to ensure that this assumption is maintained. Opportunities will arise where none seemed to exist before. Unexpected financial blessings will flow to you effortlessly. You will find yourself making decisions, taking actions, and aligning with circumstances that bring money with ease. It is not luck nor coincidence. It is the law in motion. The greatest mistake people make is believing they must first see evidence of wealth before they can assume it. But the process is reversed. You must first assume it, and then you will see the evidence. Keeping money where you can see it is a simple yet profound way to shift this assumption. It is a constant, quiet reminder that abundance is your natural state. With time, this practice dissolves the old conditioning of lack and replaces it with an unshakable certainty that money is always flowing to you. Nothing in your life changes until you change what you accept as true. If you assume money is difficult to acquire, it will always evade you. But if you assume that wealth is yours, that money is drawn to you with ease, then it must become your experience. The key is to hold this assumption unwaveringly, to live from the state of already having, to trust in the unseen before it becomes seen. Let that money on your table be more than just paper or coin. Let it be a declaration. Let it be proof of the wealth that is already unfolding in your life. Let it remind you day after day that abundance is not something you wait for, it is something you claim, here and now. Your subconscious mind is the silent architect of your reality. It does not question, it does not argue, and it does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It simply absorbs and reflects. What you repeatedly see, hear, and experience becomes embedded within it, forming the foundation of your beliefs. These beliefs, whether consciously chosen or unconsciously accepted, dictate the circumstances of your life. Money, like anything else, is deeply connected to the patterns of thoughts stored within your subconscious. If you have lived in an environment where money was always scarce, where conversations revolved around struggle, where financial hardship was the norm, then your subconscious mind has accepted those conditions as reality. Without conscious intervention, it will continue to produce the same results, for it knows no other way. But what if you could reprogram it? What if, instead of reinforcing scarcity, you could train your mind to accept wealth as a natural and ever-present part of your life? This is where the power of symbols comes in. Your subconscious does not understand abstract concepts the way your logical mind does. It responds to what it sees, what it touches, and what it interacts with daily. This is why the simple act of placing money where you see it often can begin to shift your financial reality. When money is always present in your physical environment, your subconscious begins to accept it as a normal part of life. It is no longer something distant or difficult to obtain. It is there, in front of you, real and tangible. With each passing day, the idea of financial abundance is impressed deeper into your mind, dissolving old patterns of lack and replacing them with new patterns of prosperity. Most people only see money when they need to spend it. Their interaction with it is fleeting and often tied to stress or obligation. They withdraw it from their wallets, hand it over, and watch it disappear. To the subconscious, this reinforces the idea that money is something that leaves, something that must be chased, something that is never quite enough. But when money is always present, when it sits on your table, in your space, in your field of vision, it tells a different story. It tells your mind that money is here, that it stays, that it is part of your reality. Over time, this simple visual reinforcement creates a profound internal shift. Without effort, without struggle, your mind begins to expect money, and what you expect, you receive. You will find yourself making different choices, attracting new opportunities, and experiencing financial growth without force or strain. It is not magic, it is the natural response of your subconscious aligning with what it has been trained to believe. Most people underestimate the power of their surroundings. They do not realize that the images, symbols, and objects they interact with daily are shaping their deepest assumptions. But those who understand this principle use it to their advantage. They surround themselves with symbols of the life they wish to create, and in doing so, they impress upon their subconscious the reality they desire. Let the money on your table be more than just paper. Let it be a tool, a message, a signal to your mind that wealth is always within reach. Let it serve as a daily reminder that financial flow is natural, effortless, and continuous. And as your subconscious absorbs this truth, your outer world will begin to reflect it in ways you never imagined. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you assume. The moment you feel yourself to be prosperous, wealth begins to move toward you. It does not happen by accident, nor by struggle, but by alignment with the state of already having. When you hold money, see it and engage with it in your physical space, you are not simply interacting with paper and coin. You are impressing upon your subconscious the feeling of abundance, and what you feel is real will be reflected in your world. Most people live in a constant state of longing. They want money, they need money, but they do not feel as if they already have it. Their emotions and thoughts are consumed by lack, and without realizing it, they push wealth further away. The subconscious mind does not respond to wishes. It responds to states of being. If you feel poor, if you believe money is something separate from you, your reality must match that assumption. But when you feel as though you already possess it, the outer world bends to confirm that truth. This is why engaging with money physically is so powerful. When you hold it in your hands, when you see it resting on your table, when you interact with it daily, it becomes familiar to you. The feeling of possessing wealth becomes natural, and the subconscious mind accepts it as a normal state. And once something is accepted as normal, it multiplies effortlessly. Think of how people who struggle financially react when they receive money. They grasp it tightly, afraid it will disappear. They see it as fleeting, something that comes and goes, never something that stays. But those who live in abundance interact with money differently. They do not see it as something rare or difficult to obtain. They see it as an extension of themselves, as something that flows in and out freely, always returning in greater measure. They are relaxed around money, and because they feel at ease with it, it continues to flow to them. You can train yourself into this state by deliberately engaging with money as if you already have all you need. Place it where you can see it, handle it often, and most importantly, feel gratitude for its presence. Do not look at it with desperation, but with certainty. Do not see it as something you must fight to keep, but as something that belongs to you naturally. The moment you stop treating money as a rare guest and begin treating it as a permanent resident, it will begin to stay. Your feelings are the gateway to your manifestations. If you can feel rich before the evidence appears, the evidence must come. You can generate the emotions of financial security before the money arrives, the money must arrive. The key is to immerse yourself in the experience of having, even when the outer world tells a different story. The outer world is only a reflection. It is the inner world that creates. By holding money, by seeing it in your space, by engaging with it as something already yours, you shift from a state of lack to a state of abundance. And when you live from that state, the universe has no choice but to align with it. The feeling of wealth must come before the wealth itself. But once you have claimed it internally, the external world must follow. Your mind is a powerful creator, shaping your reality based on what you consistently focus on. Whatever dominates your attention expands, whether it is wealth or lack, abundance or struggle. If your thoughts are filled with the fear of not having enough, your subconscious will continue to reflect that experience back to you. But if your focus is on prosperity, if you train your mind to see money as something ever-present and abundant, then abundance must manifest in your life. Most people unknowingly keep themselves in a cycle of financial struggle because they give their energy to lack. They check their bank accounts with anxiety, speak about how little they have, and feel the weight of every expense. Without realizing it, they reinforce the very condition they wish to escape. The subconscious mind does not understand wishes or complaints. It only responds to the energy you repeatedly impress upon it. If your dominant focus is on not having enough, then that becomes your reality. But you can shift this. You can redirect your focus toward wealth and abundance, and by doing so, you change what your subconscious accepts as true. One of the simplest ways to do this is by placing money where you can see it daily. When money is in your environment, when it is something you regularly engage with, it signals to your mind that abundance is normal. It no longer feels distant or unattainable. It becomes part of your everyday reality. So, imagine two people. One person rarely sees money, only interacting with it when paying bills or making a purchase. To them, money is something that disappears quickly, something that is always in short supply. The other person, however, keeps money visible in their home. They handle it, appreciate it, and acknowledge its presence. To them, money is something that stays, something that flows easily, something they are accustomed to having. Which of these two individuals is more likely to attract financial abundance? The one whose subconscious has been trained to accept wealth as a normal part of life. Their focus is on having, not on lacking. And because what you focus on expands, their external world must rearrange itself to reflect their inner assumption. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of consciousness in action. When your dominant thoughts and emotions are centered on prosperity, you naturally attract opportunities, ideas, and circumstances that align with that reality. You begin to make different choices, take inspired actions, and move with the confidence of someone who already possesses wealth. The universe responds not to desperation, but to certainty. Most people believe they will feel abundant once they have money. But the truth is, you must feel abundant first, and then the money comes. The feeling precedes the manifestation. This is why focusing on money's presence rather than its absence is so critical. By keeping it in your space, by acknowledging it daily, you train your mind to see financial flow as a normal, expected part of life. And once your mind fully accepts this, your world will reflect it in ways you never imagined. So shift your focus. Let your attention rest on abundance rather than lack. Notice and appreciate the money you do have, no matter how small. Keep it visible, engage with it, feel gratitude for it. As you do, you will find that what you focus on truly does expand, and money will begin to appear in your life with ease. Money is not something you chase, it is something you attract. It is not a product of endless struggle, but of alignment with the energy of abundance. The greatest misconception people have is that wealth is purely the result of hard work. They believe that by exhausting themselves, by constantly pushing and striving, they will finally achieve financial security. But true wealth is not determined by effort alone. It is shaped by your state of being. It is the result of the energy you radiate, the beliefs you hold, and the assumptions you accept as true. Everything in this universe operates on energy, including money. It flows naturally to those who align with its frequency and moves away from those who dwell in lack, fear, and desperation. Look around and you will see that some people work tirelessly and still struggle, while others seem to attract wealth effortlessly. This is not luck or chance, it is a reflection of consciousness. Those who believe money is difficult to obtain, who associate it with suffering, unknowingly repel it. But those who feel at ease with wealth, who expect it, who see themselves as financially secure, naturally draw it in. Your mind is the magnet that either pulls money toward you or pushes it away. If you constantly think of scarcity, if you fear bills, if you stress over every expense, you are radiating the energy of lack. And because your outer world is only a reflection of your inner world, financial difficulties will persist. But the moment you shift your focus and begin to embody the energy of abundance, everything changes. Money begins to flow in ways you never expected. Opportunities arise effortlessly. Resources come to you without strain. The universe rearranges itself to match the vibration you hold within. This is why some of the wealthiest people in the world seem to work less yet earn more. It is not because they are lucky, but because they have mastered the art of alignment. They do not see money as something scarce or difficult. They see it as an ever-present force, something that flows naturally to them. They have assumed themselves to be wealthy long before the physical evidence appeared. And because they held that assumption, the wealth had no choice but to manifest. You must do the same. You must let go of the belief that money only comes through struggle. Instead, cultivate the feeling of already having it. Act as if you are already wealthy. Speak, think, and move as someone who is financially free. Train your mind to see abundance in everything around you. Feel gratitude for what you have, no matter how small, and you will find that the more you appreciate, the more you attract. His is subliminal magic. Money is not about effort, it is about flow. It does not respond to desperation, but to certainty. When you radiate confidence in your financial well-being, money will be drawn to you like a magnet. The key is to embody abundance now, not later. Stop waiting for external proof. Create the feeling within, and the proof will come. Wealth is an energy, and once you align with it, it will move toward you effortlessly. Pick your vitality, pick your bon appetit, pick your chaos, pick your waking life. Wealth is not something you wait for, it is something you embody. It is not a distant goal to be achieved, but a state of consciousness to be lived in now. The greatest mistake people make is believing they will feel wealthy only when the money arrives. They tell themselves that once they have financial security, they will relax, feel confident, and experience ease. But this thinking is backward. You must first assume the state of wealth internally, and only then will your outer world rearrange itself to match that assumption. Your reality is a reflection of the state you consistently occupy. If you live in the state of lack, worrying about money, doubting its arrival, or fearing expenses, your external world will mirror that scarcity. But if you make the decision to dwell in the feeling of financial abundance, to act, think, and move as someone who is already prosperous, then wealth must manifest in your life. The outer world cannot help but reflect the inner state you maintain. One simple yet powerful way to affirm your financial abundance is by keeping money visible in your environment. Most people only see money when they are spending it, which reinforces the idea that money is fleeting and always leaving. But when you place money in your space, not as something to be used, but as a symbol of wealth, you are telling your subconscious mind that money is present, that it stays, that it flows continuously. This small act shifts your mental state from one of scarcity to one of possession. Imagine entering a room where money is always in sight, on your desk, in your wallet, placed neatly on a table. Every time your eyes land on it, you are reminded of its presence. You begin to associate your surroundings with financial security. The more you see money, the more natural it feels to have it, and the more your subconscious accepts abundance as your reality. And because what you assume to be true must express itself in your world, money will begin to flow to you effortlessly. The key is to live in the end state of wealth, to assume it so fully that it becomes second nature. This does not mean reckless spending or pretending to be rich while drowning in debt. It means embodying the energy of someone who is financially free, moving through life with confidence, making decisions from a place of abundance rather than fear, and trusting that money is always available when needed. It means shifting from a mindset of "I need more" to "I already have." Think of the people who attract wealth with ease. They do not obsess over money, they expect it. They do not operate from desperation, they move with certainty. Their belief in their financial well-being is so firm that their reality has no choice but to conform. They do not wait for proof, they create it through their state of being. You must do the same. Train yourself to feel wealthy now. Walk with the confidence of someone who has more than enough. See money as something that stays with you, that flows in and out effortlessly, always returning in greater amounts. As you maintain this state, your outer world will adjust accordingly. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you align with. And once you do, it will manifest in your life with ease. Take a boredom in your heart. Wealth is not a matter of luck or endless struggle. It is a state of mind, a consciousness that shapes the reality you experience. When you assume abundance, when you impress it upon your subconscious, when you see money as a natural and constant presence in your life, it must manifest. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs dictate what you receive. If you focus on scarcity, you will experience lack. But if you align yourself with the energy of financial freedom, money will flow to you effortlessly. By keeping money visible, by engaging with it daily, and by living in the end state of wealth, you condition your mind to accept prosperity as your reality. The subconscious responds to repetition, to symbols, and to deeply held assumptions. And once you convince yourself that abundance is yours, the outer world must conform to your belief. Money is not something to fear, chase, or struggle for. It is something to allow, to welcome, and to expect with certainty. Live as though financial freedom is already yours. Walk with confidence. Think with assurance, and move with ease. The more you embody this truth, the more your reality will reflect it. Wealth is not outside of you, it is within, waiting for you to claim it. Thank you. Before the seed breaks through the soil, the earth must move. Before the dawn, the night must pass. And before your manifestation appears in your world, the unseen must first shift. If you have been living in the assumption of your desire, know this: signs will always follow. A sign of true manifestation is an unshakable peace. You are no longer chasing, wishing, or hoping. Instead, you have surrendered to the knowing that what you seek is already seeking you. The restless mind becomes still. You do not beg for what is already yours. You rest in the conviction that it is done. Have you been seeing repeated numbers, hearing the name of your desire in unexpected places? These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The world outside is a reflection of the world within. When you start seeing echoes of your desire, it means the invisible has already taken form. It is now arranging itself to be revealed in your life. The subconscious mind, the doorway to creation, begins to send you messages. In dreams, you may see yourself already possessing what you seek. New ideas flood your mind effortlessly. This is your deeper self whispering, "It is near." The mind does not invent, it reveals. And what it reveals to you in the stillness of night is a glimpse of what is to come. Detachment is not giving up. It is stepping into certainty. You no longer hold tight trying to force things into place. Instead, you walk in the feeling of already having it. The one who knows he is rich does not count his coins every hour. He simply lives as the wealthy man. So too must you live as the one who already has. The world around you begins to rearrange itself. Certain relationships fall away while others step in. The job, the opportunity, or the person that once seemed distant now moves closer. Why? Because the unseen forces are at work, molding reality to match the assumption you have held within. Do not be shaken when a challenge arises just before your desire manifests. This is not a sign of failure, but of confirmation. The old reality will attempt to pull you back, but this is your moment to stand firm. Hold fast to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and watch as the illusion of lack crumbles before you. Your manifestation is not in the future, it exists now. Time is merely the unfolding of what is already complete. Trust the signs, remain unwavering, and know this: what you have imagined is already done. There comes a moment in the journey of manifestation when the restless energy of wanting disappears. The longing that once felt so urgent begins to dissolve, replaced by something far more powerful, Certainty. You no longer chase, beg, or plead with the universe. Instead, you rest, knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. This is the moment when true faith takes hold. It may seem strange. You might have spent weeks, months, or even years feeling an intense desire, constantly wondering when and how it will arrive. You may have tried countless techniques, visualizations, affirmations, or rituals to speed up the process. But then, without warning, the desperation fades. Not because you have given up, but because something within you has shifted. You realize you do not need to force or control anything, because creation is already finished. The seed of your desire was planted the moment you fully imagined it, and now it is only a matter of unfolding in time. This inner peace is not passive, it is not resignation or indifference. It is an unshakable confidence, a deep trust in the unseen. When you truly believe that what you desire is already done, you stop questioning. You stop looking for external validation. You no longer search for signs, because you understand that the greatest sign of all is the change within you. The anxiety that once controlled you disappears, and in its place comes a quiet assurance that allows you to move through life with ease. People often believe that they must struggle and fight to bring their desires into reality. They believe that manifestation requires constant effort, a relentless pursuit of techniques and strategies. But true creation happens in the stillness of the mind, in the moments when you allow yourself to rest in the knowing that it is already yours. When you are anxious, you are still doubting. You are still looking outside of yourself for confirmation. But when you are at peace, you have already received it within. This is the paradox of manifestation. When you feel that you no longer need it, it comes. When you stop chasing, it finds you. When you stop doubting, reality bends to match your belief. It is not about pushing but allowing, not about forcing but surrendering. You will recognize this shift when it happens. You may wake up one day and feel completely at ease. The desire that once consumed your every thought will feel natural, as if it has already happened. You may even forget about it for a time, no longer obsessing over when or how it will appear. This is not. And then, as if by magic, the outer world begins to reflect your new inner world. You start to notice changes, small at first, then undeniable. The right people appear, the right opportunities unfold. The reality that once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. But it is not magic at all. It is simply the law in motion. There comes a time in the process of manifestation when the universe begins to speak to you in ways that seem almost too perfect to be coincidence. Suddenly you start noticing repeating numbers everywhere, on the clock, on license plates, on receipts. You overhear conversations where strangers mention something directly related to your desire. A song plays on the radio with lyrics that feel like a message meant just for you. These are not accidents, they are signs that the unseen world is responding to your inner state. Many people dismiss synchronicities as random events, but they are far from meaningless. They are reflections of your inner world materializing in the outer world. The universe, or rather your own consciousness, is arranging itself to bring your desire into form. When you begin to see these symbols frequently, it means the shift has already started. You are no longer just thinking about your desire. You are aligning with it. These signs are confirmations that what you seek is not only possible, but already moving toward you. It often starts subtly. You might think of someone, and moments later they call or message you. You might envision a specific outcome, and soon after, something happens that feels like a preview of your manifestation. These moments feel special because they are. They are glimpses of the invisible forces at work, aligning circumstances in your favor. If you pay attention, you will notice patterns, a rhythm to how things unfold. And here we are. It is as if reality is winking at you, letting you know that you are on the right path. The key is not to chase these signs, but to acknowledge them with gratitude. When you try too hard to force them, you fall into the trap of doubt, looking for proof that your manifestation is working. But these symbols appear naturally when you are in a state of allowing. They are not here to convince you. They are here to remind you of what you already know deep down, that your desire is on its way. The universe speaks through people. You might be struggling with doubt, and then a friend unknowingly says something that directly addresses your concern. You may be contemplating a decision, and a random article, video, or message gives you the clarity you needed. These are not just chance occurrences, they are the unfolding of your assumption. Every external sign is a reflection of your internal state. When your belief in your desire strengthens, the world around you will begin to confirm it more and more. There may also be times when these signs appear rapidly, almost overwhelmingly. It is in these moments that you must remain steady. Do not let excitement turn into attachment or impatience. Instead, let these synchronicities deepen your trust in the process. The more you acknowledge them without clinging to them, the more they will continue to unfold effortlessly. When the universe begins mirroring your desires back to you, understand that you are no longer merely hoping or wishing. You are in the state of receiving. The bridge of events is forming, and your manifestation is closer than ever. There is a moment in the journey of manifestation when your subconscious begins to reveal signs that what you seek is already on its way. This often happens through dreams, vivid, powerful dreams that seem more real than ordinary ones. You may see yourself already experiencing your desire, living in the reality you have imagined. You may wake up feeling as though you have touched something beyond the physical world, as if a part of you has already stepped into the life you long for. To imagine that everything is already coming as you imagine, reality shows up. These dreams are not random. They are messages from the deeper layers of your mind, confirming that your manifestation is taking shape. The subconscious mind is the gateway between the unseen and the physical. It does not operate on logic or reasoning as the conscious mind does. Instead, it speaks in symbols, emotions, and imagery. When you impress a desire deeply enough upon your subconscious, through repetition, imagination, and belief, it begins to accept it as reality. And once it does, it starts to communicate with you in ways you may not expect. Dreams are one of the most direct ways your subconscious shows you that you are aligning with your manifestation. Sometimes these dreams are literal. You may see yourself holding the very thing you desire, talking to the person you wish to attract, or living in the place you long to be. Other times the messages are more symbolic. You may dream of walking through an open door, flying effortlessly through the sky, or discovering hidden treasures. These symbols reflect the internal shifts happening within you. If you pay attention, you will begin to notice patterns. Your subconscious is always guiding you, showing you glimpses of what is unfolding beneath the surface. Beyond dreams, another powerful sign of alignment is mental clarity. Thoughts that once felt scattered now seem to arrange themselves effortlessly. You begin to receive insights, solutions, and ideas seemingly out of nowhere. Where there was once confusion, there is now understanding. The answers you had been seeking suddenly become obvious. This is not coincidence. It is the result of your subconscious organizing reality in accordance with your belief. You may notice that new opportunities present themselves at just the right time. A book appears with exactly the wisdom you need. A conversation with a stranger provides unexpected insight. Inspiration flows effortlessly, and you find yourself knowing exactly what to do next. This clarity is a sign that your mind and reality are becoming synchronized. When you are in this state, there is no longer a struggle. You are not trying to force things into place. They are falling into place on their own. Many people search for signs outside of themselves, but the greatest confirmation of manifestation is the change within. If your subconscious is showing you your desire in dreams, if your thoughts are clear and solutions seem to come naturally, understand this: you are already in possession of what you seek. The outer world is simply catching up. Trust these dreams. Trust this clarity. They are not mere thoughts. They are evidence that what you have imagined is preparing to take form. The bridge between the unseen and the seen is unfolding, and soon you will step into the reality you have already lived in your mind. There comes a point in the process of manifestation when something remarkable happens. You no longer feel the desperate need for your desire to appear. The constant questioning, the restless impatience, and the urge to check for signs simply dissolve. Instead, you feel neutral, as if what you once longed for is now inevitable. This state of detachment is one of the clearest signs that your manifestation is near, for it shows that you have fully accepted its reality. Quote from Arthur Newick: "This shift can feel strange. You may have spent so much time visualizing, affirming, and focusing on your desire that the sudden loss of urgency feels unnatural. But this is not a loss of interest or giving up. It is a sign of deep inner certainty. You no longer feel the need to make it happen because in your mind it already has. There is no grasping, no chasing, no anxious waiting. Only a quiet knowing that it will arrive in its own perfect time and way." Detachment does not mean you stop wanting your desire. It simply means you release the feeling of lack. You no longer see it as something separate from you, something out of reach. Instead, you live as though it is already yours. Imagine how you would feel if your manifestation had already come true. Would you still be constantly searching for proof? Would you still be doubting or questioning? No. You would go about your life with ease, secure in the fact that it has already been done. This is the energy of detachment. It is the space where true manifestation unfolds effortlessly. When you detach, you free yourself from resistance. You are no longer sending out signals of desperation or neediness, which only push your desire further away. Instead you move into a state of trust. One of the greatest misconceptions about manifestation is the idea that you must constantly think about your desire for it to materialize. But the opposite is true. When you obsess over something, you reinforce the belief that it is not yet yours. You keep it in a state of wanting rather than having. But when you detach, you shift into the state of already possessing it. This is why so many people experience their manifestations the moment they stop worrying about them. As we facade, the energy of surrender allows things to unfold with perfect timing. This feeling of detachment is also accompanied by an inner sense of peace. You no longer feel the emotional highs and lows of expectation and disappointment. You are no longer checking for signs, asking when it will happen, or feeling frustrated at delays. Instead, you simply live, knowing that what is meant for you is already on its way. And in this state, manifestations happen faster than ever before. When you reach this level of neutrality, embrace it. It is not a sign that your desire is slipping away. It is a sign that you have finally aligned with it. And soon enough, the outer world will reflect the certainty you now hold within. As your manifestation draws closer, you will notice something peculiar. People and situations around you begin to shift. Some relationships that once felt significant may start to fade, while new connections and opportunities begin to emerge effortlessly. At first, this change may feel unsettling, but it is a sign that your external world is rearranging itself to match the new reality you have chosen. The universe operates through divine order, and when you set an intention for something new, everything that is not in alignment with that vision must either transform or fall away. You may find that certain friendships or relationships no longer feel as connected as they once did. Conversations that used to engage you now feel dull or forced. People who once occupied a large space in your life may begin to distance themselves or disappear altogether. While this may seem like a loss, it is not. It is simply the shedding of old energies that no longer align with your evolving state of being. At the same time, new relationships and opportunities begin to present themselves. You may encounter people who inspire and uplift you, who resonate with your newfound mindset. Unexpected invitations, offers, and ideas may flow into your life as if drawn by an unseen force. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of your internal shift. When you elevate your consciousness and assume the reality of your desire, Everything in your life must reorganize to support that new assumption. This process is not always comfortable. Sometimes it may feel like everything is falling apart before it comes together. A job you once relied on may suddenly end. A relationship you believed was permanent may begin to dissolve. Plans that seemed certain may unexpectedly change. When this happens, resist the urge to hold on to the past. Understand that what is leaving is making space for what is meant for you. Trust that these shifts are happening for your highest good, even if they do not immediately make sense. One of the clearest signs that your manifestation is unfolding is when you begin to experience synchronicities in your social and professional life. You might meet someone who provides the exact information or opportunity you need. You may find yourself in the right place at the right time, overhearing a conversation or stumbling upon a resource that propels you forward. Doors that once seemed closed will open effortlessly, not because you are forcing them, but because you are now aligned with them. It is important to remain open and adaptable during this time. Do not resist the changes, but embrace them as evidence that your manifestation is in motion. The old must make way for the new, and this transition is proof that you are stepping into a new version of yourself. Instead of mourning what is leaving, celebrate what is arriving. Instead of fearing change, trust that every shift is guiding you toward what you have asked for. When you see people and situations begin to change around you, take it as a powerful confirmation. Your new reality is taking shape. The bridge of events is unfolding, and soon you will step fully into the life you have envisioned. Just before your manifestation arrives, something unexpected happens. A challenge appears. It may come in the form of an obstacle, a delay, or even a situation that makes you question everything you have believed. You may feel as if things are falling apart instead of coming together. This is not a sign that your manifestation has failed. Rather, it is a final test, a moment where you are asked to stand firm in your faith. If you persist, if you refuse to react in fear or doubt, you will soon witness your manifestation unfold. This test often comes disguised as a setback. Perhaps you are manifesting financial abundance and suddenly an unexpected expense arises. You might be affirming a new relationship only to find yourself confronted with loneliness. You may be visualizing career success yet experience rejection just when you thought you were making progress. At first glance, it seems as if the universe is working against you, but in reality, it is working for you. This challenge is not here to break you. It is here to reveal whether you truly believe in your manifestation or, if you will, waver under pressure. Many people give up at this stage. They see the challenge as proof that their desire is not meant to be, that they have failed in their manifestation. But those who understand the process know better. They recognize that this is the final step before the breakthrough. When you remain steadfast despite appearances, when you refuse to let circumstances dictate your inner state, you pass the test, and in passing you allow the manifestation to fully materialize. Why does this test appear? Because manifestation is not just about receiving, it is about becoming. You are not merely attracting something, you are shifting into a version of yourself that naturally possesses what you desire. This test forces you to embody that version fully. If you desire abundance, you must think and act as if you are already abundant, even in the face of financial challenges. Your time here starts literally once you realize that you're banging on with manifestation. You are not being untangled yet. If you desire love, you must radiate self-worth and confidence, even when it seems absent in your outer world. If you seek success, you must persist with certainty even when setbacks arise. This challenge is an invitation to prove to yourself that you truly trust in the unseen. It asks, will you still believe when everything seems to contradict your desire? Will you hold on to your vision, even when reality appears otherwise? If you can answer yes, if you can remain unmoved, then your manifestation has no choice but to unfold. The key is not to react in fear or frustration, Do not let the illusion of temporary difficulty shake your confidence. Instead, take it as confirmation that your manifestation is closer than ever. Shift your perspective. See the test not as a barrier but as the final doorway. Walk through it with certainty, knowing that on the other side, your desire is waiting for you. Every great manifestation is preceded by this moment of trial. Those who persist, who hold their vision no matter what, are the ones who experience their desires fully realized. When the test comes, stand firm. The finish line is nearer than you think. The journey of manifestation is not about forcing reality to change, but about aligning yourself with the truth that your desire is already yours. The signs along the way, inner peace, synchronicities, vivid dreams, detachment, shifting circumstances, and even final challenges, are not random occurrences. They are confirmations that the unseen is becoming seen, that the bridge of events is unfolding in perfect order. What is important? The signs. When you recognize these signs, trust them. Do not waver, do not second guess, and do not fall into doubt. Each sign is a whisper from the universe, reminding you that what you seek is already on its way. Your role is not to chase, but to become, to embody the state of already having, already being, already knowing. Remain steadfast in your vision. Let go of the need to control every detail, and instead surrender with confidence. The moment you stop questioning, the moment you trust completely, is the moment your desire moves from imagination to reality. Thank you for allowing these words to guide you. May you walk forward with certainty, knowing that everything you desire is already finding its way to you.